Okay, so we just had our first delivery of wood of the season. We've never used wood as a fuel source, so this is all new to us. We paid €50 for 1 meters cubed of wood, and that was for the builder. Our Signorio gave us a number for a builder who also does wood delivery. That was for him to come and deliver it into the basement here. So I'm going to stack it up just so it dries out a bit better. That was the first thing I read. We've never used wood as a fuel source. We are learning as we go along. This is the pile of wood. I'm going to stack it up and organise it into longer pieces and shorter pieces. So I'm going to set this up. You can watch me work, enjoy, and yeah, we'll maybe get a fire going. Like I say, we've got to figure this out. We haven't done this before. I'm not outdoorsy, not into that sort of thing, although we have been camping a few times. We haven't made a bunch of fires and stuff like that. So I know Canadians are big into the outdoorsy stuff. We never got into that, and we weren't really into it in England either. So we're gonna have to learn. Okay, so I just started laying these tiles out. Just some old tiles I had down here, just to keep it off the ground. I know it's not a big deal, but this floor is quite damp. I'm just going to stack it, try and organise it as I go. And we'll also keep a pile of like the real little stuff that we can use to start the fire. Okay, so I laid a few tiles down just to keep it off. The floor's pretty damp. I know it doesn't matter too much, but and then I've got a basket to put the super little bits in for to get the fire going. So I'm going to try and organise it as we go through as best I can. Like I say, keep the short stuff one end, long stuff. That's the strategy anyway. I don't know how long this is going to last. I read somewhere that it took, I guess it all depends on your insulation, which we have none. Your windows, which we have single glaze. We're probably going to burn through this pretty quick. Everything's stacked up nice and neatly. We've got more of the smaller stuff this end, bigger stuff this end. So like I say, one of the log burners is huge and one of them is tiny. The one downstairs is tiny, which is the one I'm probably going to use more. But I'm probably going to have another couple delivered, I think, just to make sure we have enough and we don't have to keep ordering it every month. And then we'll probably pile it up over. We've got loads of space here, so I can pile a load up there. And then we'll be good. Got to figure out how to use these log burners now. And it's not that cold today, but we'll probably get one going tomorrow morning, maybe just to have a play with it. We have this sort of area underneath our house as well, where we've been putting all of our bottles and stuff. So we've got to get rid of these today. We've got a bunch of like garden waste there, and then cardboard. But I'm going to cut this big box up. It's quite thick cardboard, and use this for maybe some fire starter. But I think I'm going to cut one side up into little slithers, and we can use that to get the barbecue going, or the pizza oven, or the fires going. So time to get rid of all this. This stuff's probably pretty good to get a fire going. So guys, if you watched our last video on finding a rental property or trying to find a rental property when we were back in Canada, this is going to be a new version of that using the same program. We love Smappin'. I'm going to put the link in the description. It's completely free. There's a free version of it, I guess. This is all you need to do what we're doing. But basically, we've done a bunch of exploring. We've been to the biggest cities here in Portugal.
We are really drawn to Coimbra. We love Coimbra. We love central Portugal. We love the fact that we are in the centre and we can get up. We can get down to the Algarve in 4 hours. We can get up to the top in a few hours. We can get anywhere in Portugal in a few hours, really. We love Coimbra as a city. A little bit smaller than Lisbon and Porto, but still that city feel where you have all the amenities. You have tons of restaurants, tons of cafes, tons of stuff to see and do. And then we want to be close to the beach as well. So we are inland. We are about within an hour east of Coimbra, which is nice that we can get there. But we want to be less than sort of 25-30 minutes to the mall in Coimbra. It's really important for our kids. And we want to be less than 30 minutes to the beach in Figueira da Foz area. So I'm going to show you how I use this program to sort of track down areas that we're interested in. We're going to get all this information over to a buyer's agent. We are going to use a buyer's agent because we've used real estate agents. We've done a bunch of house hunting already, and they only show you the houses that their company is selling, basically. So a buyer's agent will look for everyone, will be on your side, find a bunch of properties instead of just for one company. So we're going to get this information over to him. We're going to let him give us some suggestions and ideas and advice as well. We're not going to be too stubborn about the area, but I'm going to show you how we're sort of narrowing the area down for him. So okay, so this is Smappen. We've shown you this before in our rental video. There's a bunch of different ways you can use this. I want to find how long it takes to get from our potential house area to these different locations. So for me, I'm going to go driving, I'm going to go time, we're going to go Forum, Coimbra. The kids want to be able to nip over here whenever they want, and I want to be less than 25 minutes. Okay, so driving, time, 25 minutes, and this is going to tell you how far you can drive from that point in 25 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to change this to yellow. The other important area for us is the beach. So I'm going to say we're going to do a create new area. We're going to go time. We're going to go 30 minutes because it's not as important. But we do want to be able to nip over there in the evening for a nice walk by the beach. And we're going to go prior. Let's do Figueira. Well, let me show you how you do this. So you can just actually come in here and let's just say we'll go here. Okay, start an address, and we want to be 30 minutes, drive time, calculate. Okay, this is going to give us another area, and this has already given us this really nice cross section area here. I'm going to go yellow. Okay, and what you can do is you can right click here and you go overlap, and you can go click these two overlapping areas. So it's given us this area here. Okay, so we know if we want to be 30 minutes from the beach, from Figueira da Foz, and 25 minutes from the Forum in Coimbra, we have to be in this area here. This is where we're looking. Here's Google Maps, and we can see if we sort of cross-reference that, we're looking for this sort of area here. Okay, so Montemo Velo to this sort of area here, Santa Vareo, please forgive me if I'm butchering that, and then you've got this area up here, you've got Castelnovo do Rio. There's quite a built up area here, so this would be a really good area to look in. So this is somewhere we're definitely interested in. The other thing I want to do is I want to see train stations. So we've got a train line comes right through here, so the kids want to be within a 25-minute walk of a train station as well, so they can get, I believe this train line goes Figueira, yeah, it goes all the way to Figueira, all the way to Coimbra. So these small towns here would be a really good area as well. So let's plot a couple of these. I'll show you how to do that as well. So we're going to come into this area now. let's just turn that off. So just south of this river, we've got a train here. So I'll show you on this one. We've got a train station here. I'm going to go from there, start an address. We're going to do a walking distance of, say, 25 minutes. So if they want to go and catch the train on there, you know, they can. They don't need us to take them, even though we'll be close enough to Coimbra or Figueira to go and drop them off in those areas. I don't mind driving around doing that. But this will narrow things down as well. I would imagine it'd be around here somewhere. Okay, so that's an area we're interested in. Oh, glitching out here. Got the train there. Where's that train line? Comes across here. It's not showing up on this map, but if you looked in Santa Vallejo, come here, and that, you see a train there. So you could find this exact spot on that other map. Somewhere around here, isn't it? Yeah, just there. So like here. Starting address. Walk in, 25 minutes. Calculate. I'll do that another colour. We'll change these to, say, blue. Okay, and what I would do is I would go to all of the train stops all the way through here, and I would mark them all down. You can create a folder. You can go train stations. Change these to whatever colour you want. And you can drag these, keep everything neat and tidy. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what you can do with this tool, guys, and we will take this. I would go along, I'm going to do all the train stations in this area. We're obviously interested in this Montaigne. It's slightly out of the you know, it might be 30 minutes from here to Coimbra, but I'm sure there's this Carapinheira. You know, we could have a look up here, maybe in some of these small village areas up here. But I can give this to the buyer's agent and say, this is exactly where we want to be. You know, this gets us to all of the places we want to be. It gives them a really good idea, and it helps us narrow down the area, you know. I like this area up here as well. We've travelled up here. This is a really nice area. Anyway, guys, so we'll show you some of our house hunting, looking around houses. But this is a really good tool to use, and we would highly recommend. Again, I'll put the link in the description so you can check that out. And if you've got any value from this, hit that subscribe button and help us out. It really helps us out. Okay, guys, so now we've narrowed things down to an area. We can get this information to the buyer's agent. He can schedule all these appointments. We can go out and not waste a bunch of time looking around. We have done a bunch of exploring around here, but we've really narrowed it down to wanting to be close to the beach, close to Coimbra, and still have that small town feel. So we'll get the location, we'll give him that information, but he's got our budget, the fact that we're looking for a property that needs a lot of work. We want to, you know, not do things from the ground up, but we really want to redo everything how we want: kitchens, bathrooms, new ventilation system, heating system, all of that sort of stuff. That's the level of renovation we want to do. So join us on our journey as we go and view some of these properties. Yeah, so today we have come to Montaigne Velo to look at this whole area, some villages around this area, the town itself. We've got a day with a buyer's agent booked up to go and look at a bunch of properties that are in our sort of price range, and we're looking for a project, obviously. So we're following a buyer's agent around. He's booked up a load of appointments to look at these properties, and we'll show you some of the houses we're looking at. So guys, this is the first property we looked at with the buyer's agent. It was an unusual property. I really liked it. It was a bit like a labyrinth, but it did have a ton of room. What the lady had done, as people had been moving away and selling their house and stuff, she'd been buying them and then just like illegally adding them to her house. She'd done a bunch of renovations, like using materials that weren't allowed because it's so close to a church. The church actually has a say on the materials and stuff you can use on the house, and she'd just done whatever she wanted. So there was a bunch of tearing down and redoing of stuff you'd have to do. She also didn't get the proper planning permission. So this was a huge red flag for us right from the start. As soon as we heard that, I don't think we'd want to get involved in it, but it was an interesting property to look at, and it was really beautiful. It was right by the castle, right by the church there. And yeah, I'll show you around. We'll show you the actual tour. Okay, so I'm starting. We're right by the castle and the church. Just going to show you this little area here. This is one of the kitchens. Absolutely beautiful day. So we're in the middle of the house on the first floor. You've got a bedroom here. Big bedroom. Lots of beautiful views from this house. We're right on the hill by the castle. Tons of work redecorating and stuff though. Everything needed to be redone. Kitchens, bathrooms, decorating everywhere, new flooring. Like, it's a big project. Another bedroom. Another bedroom. Another terrace bit out there. I'm just going to take you upstairs. This would probably be the main suite. Maybe a bathroom in here eventually. There's views all the way around. And this is a lovely view up here. You've got the castle up there. This was 130,000, and they specifically said they would only take all cash, and there were some issues with the license, their permits and stuff like that, which is a reason we were just not really interested. But a beautiful property. It's the first and second floor. I'll take you through to the main. Amy was just not interested at all. Yeah. Living area. This goes out to that little terrace that I showed you. Another little living area. This was another house they'd bought and just added on. So it goes through to a little kitchen, little shower, some odd little rooms here. Interesting property. Might be good for an investment. Yeah, it seemed to me like you could probably split it up again and rent it out, but then you've got to get into getting the license for doing an Airbnb and all that sort of stuff, and I'm not really interested in doing that. So yeah, overall had probably got a bunch of potential, but there's a load of issues with paperwork and bureaucracy, and I just didn't want to get into that. So that was the first property we looked at. It was a bit of a maze in there, wasn't it? Very old, needed a lot of work. Was a beautiful location, had amazing views out of the windows, right by the castle. But it was by a church where the real estate agent told us they have control over a lot of stuff that's being used. They also let us know that a lot of the stuff that had been used, the lady had bought like neighbours' houses and not done stuff properly, so there would be some paperwork issues. She'd used materials for the roofing that you weren't allowed to use, so there was a lot of issues. I don't think we're interested in getting involved in anything like that. And although we are up for doing a lot of work, we don't want to get, we want to minimise the amount of paperwork and bureaucracy issues. And the other thing was the parking was non-existent. We'd had to walk, and
there is no garden.
No garden, and anything else?
There was no parking, there was no garden.
No parking,
The
no
fact
garden.
that it was already illegal when we'd be buying it
Yeah.
was a red flag.
Yeah, and they wanted all cash as well. So just a little bit fishy, not really interested in getting into that. And it was next door to the church, and the bells are like crazy loud. They went off when we were there.
That doesn't bother me. It's just all the other stuff is like,
Yeah.
I don't need a house like this.
No, it was a lovely, lovely house though, right by the church, right by the castle. But yeah, on to the next one. Okay, next one we're going to look at is a big yellow manor style house. It's quite a lot bigger than the last one. It's more in like on the outskirts in a little village, and it needs a ton of work. The roof needs to be redone straight away. which is costly, but it's also quite a good deal. So, you know, we'd have enough money to do all the stuff we need to do and redo everything. We want to do new ventilation system, new heating system, all of that sort of stuff. So we're really looking for something that needs a ton of work, so we can actually start from the ground, not from the ground up, but redo everything basically just how we want it. So yeah, this is an option. We're going to go and take a look and see what we think. Okay guys, so I want to jump on it quick. We didn't actually go in here. The real estate agent who was meeting us here with our buying agent showed up without the keys, so we couldn't get in. I did jump over the back and ran through, and it was a nice area. There's some big cracks. It was a nice plot. It had a few buildings in the back, a load of land, beautiful metal work, iron work. But the inside, the roof you needed a complete new roof straight away. So not a huge deal, because I've done a bunch of roofing and I know a bunch of roofers. The inside was completely done because the roof had obviously on the back end had come in, loads of water got in there and everything was wrecked. So you'd be basically building a new house. You'd have the 4 exterior walls and that would be it. But it was a beautiful property overlooking the town square. Yeah, I'll just show you so basically, you know, the whole yellow building, all included. There was some shop areas that had been set up downstairs, but you'd basically be just ripping the whole thing out and redoing it. This was about 100 grand. You'd probably need to put at least a couple of $100 grand into it to get it to all finished with everything in the back and that, and do a ton of the work yourself as well. Not really looking for this much of a project, although it would be fun. It would be loads of good YouTube content. I don't think it would be for us. So although it was a beautiful property, and I'm sure someone will come in and turn that into something amazing here one of these days, not really for us. And we didn't get any video around inside. There was a ton of pigeons in there, but I sort of crept through. The floor was falling through, opened the door, and Amy sort of popped her head in and said, yeah, I'm not even coming in there. But this was one we were excited about. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but we did come and see it. So yeah, this place was not in Montemor Velo. It was in another location, and we are looking into this location quite heavily, so I'm not going to share exactly where it was, but this house is absolutely beautiful. There are some big potential issues. There's some big cracks in all of the corners of the rooms where the interior walls attached to the exterior walls, some of them up to like 1/4 of an inch, half an inch. So we'd need to get a structural engineer in here and let us know how much that would cost. It was quite expensive, but it's a big house, plenty of space for us. Great project for doing on YouTube. 200 years old, lots of history here. And there's some ruins around the property that used to actually be part of this property that you could potentially buy as well to make you know, a guest house, maybe an extra bit of yard. The yards weren't huge, but there was 2 nice little yards either side of the property. I'm going to show you around here. Let me know what you think, but a ton of history. This is exactly what we're looking for. I'm just a little bit concerned about the cracks in the home. So we are looking into that. We are potentially going to get a structural engineer out here. That can cost anywhere from $400 to $1,500. So we're going to maybe put an offer in and see what happens. You know, it's going to be a majorly lowball offer, just to cover the you know, the additional expense of possibly, you know, I've spoken to a couple of people already. You know, anywhere up to 80,000 euros to deal with the cracks. Potentially, but get the experts in, let them see it, and we're continuing the search as well, guys. So this is the last one we looked at on that day. This is what we're looking for, something like this with this level of renovation needed. I don't know if it's going to be this property, and in fact I probably think it won't be this property, but we're looking into it. This is the main entrance. You can see the ceilings here, very high. Big room here, very high ceilings, beautiful floors. Same on this side. So the story here was there was an old guy here, he just recently passed, left it to his family. His family's living in Australia and Azores, somewhere in Portugal, and just want to get rid of the house. So like I say, it's got a ton of history. There's a lot of stuff I'd love to restore and keep. All the floors are amazing, the staircase you'll see in a minute is amazing. A lot of the ceilings are amazing. There are some ceilings that will need to come down. There's a bunch of insulating that would need to be done. I'd want to put a ventilation system and heating system and everything in here because there's no heating at all. There's one log burner and a fireplace in the kitchen that hasn't been used for many years. There is double glazing windows that has been done. He wanted to treat himself, so he decided to do all of the double glazed windows a few years ago to make it a bit more comfortable. But other than that, it's pretty much been left.
Then we've got these 2 rooms here. These are sort of symmetrical on both sides of the house. Goes out to the terrace, like a terrace out there, which I'll show you in a second. And on this side, got this other little space here. Goes through, this is the room I just showed you from that door. And through here, the stairs. This is the garden. Out to the street there. Head into the kitchen. I haven't actually seen this area here yet. Bathroom. There's cracks everywhere.
So that was one of the cracks I was talking about, but there's a lot of the interior walls where they join the exterior walls. This is on the back of the property. There's some on the front of the property as well. So again, a big red flag, something we need to look into. Will probably put us off this property in particular, but yeah. Definitely, you're always going to want to get an inspector, an engineer, or get the professionals in. Or even though I've been in construction for 20 years, I'm going to get people in that are experts with old stone houses, yeah, get the word from the experts.
All this furniture will be able to stay here as well. Around in here.
So this would be just like a suite, a master suite.
They've had the windows done at some point. It's just a lot of crap.
Walk-in wardrobe, bedroom, bathroom,
Larder.
makeup area maybe, but this would probably be like a...
Mold.
They've had no ventilation, no heating in this house, so it's going to be damp in areas for sure.
Show you the kitchen.
Beautiful kitchen though.
There's the kitchen. I'm just going to point out, show you everything, and then just go over the cracks and stuff. So they've got this little outdoor area here. That's like concrete. And then that's the little drive area. And then on the other side, that same garden I showed you a minute ago. Looks like it needs some work there.
Absolutely love the kitchen though.
Amazing stairs. Oh, this is where it gets a
Bit cracky.
it's like 200 years old, this house. There's obviously some issues. You've got these big cracks. I don't know if this is because this is an interior wall. This is an exterior wall and they may be moving a bit. I don't know too much about it. There's definitely some moisture issues. There's no heating in this house. No air movement. There's one fireplace.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to cut that there. This is the sort of thing we're looking for anyway. And I've shown you how to find areas. And I just wanted to bring you on a bit of the journey of us looking for a house. So we're still nowhere near complete. We're still looking. We do want to do one trip down to the Algarve. We haven't been down to the Algarve, although we are pretty sure we're going to want to stay central because we can move all the way around. We're close to, we're an hour really from the locations we're looking at. We're an hour from the airport. Algarve, super expensive, touristy, very seasonal. We don't want to make any like super judgments yet because we haven't been down there, but I don't think it's an area we want to look at. But we are going to go down and do some exploring before we buy a house for sure. That's it for house hunting this week, guys, and as always, here are our bloopers for this video. And we'll go on a little bit of a journey here with in these areas, and we'll bring you along for the ride for that in our area that we want to be in. And please subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay guys, that is it for today's video. I've enjoyed. Please give us all the advice, everything in eyes are watering. I'm having an allergy. Although we are going to do a trip down to cut that and just use the last bit. Questions, all your advice in the comment section, like you usually do. Super grateful for that. Amazing. No, I'm letting people know that the video's over. Of course, guys, we're going to give you all the bloopers for the video, everyone. Okay, guys. So we are right, cut all of that. As we continue this journey, we are going to do a quick. I hope you're enjoying this video. I hope you're enjoying being on this journey with us, guys, as we try and find a house for ourselves and our beautiful fam. Okay, guys. That is it for this. Oh, my tea's gone cold. Ugh. If you're enjoying being part of this journey and watching us as we try and find our house in central Portugal, throw a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, share all your advice, all your comments, all your thoughts about this video, about where we're deciding to live. And as always, we are super grateful for all the help we get in DMs, via email, and comments on this channel. Keep it up. We really love it. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next video.